seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Bhoycie boss rolls back in on a Friday night. It's the Double Doon Show with a wee bit of a twist tonight because it's going to be me facing questions on the craziest quiz format that I created all those many moons ago. It's now going to come back and bite me in the arse when it turns out the man who understands the quiz the least is indeed the man who created the quiz. Tonight I'm delighted to be joined because PHIL MCGINLAY is back for, I don't know, you could say it's your 1000th episode, Phil. You've been on it that many times. I've lost count.
I might as well just go over that. Yes, my 1000th episode, everybody. So give that a thumbs up. I'm on for the 1000th time, everyone.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. And it's good to have you on because obviously, slight change. We were meant to have Gary on tonight. Unfortunately, work comes first, and I get that. He kind of forgot to let me know. I wasn't raging or anything. I forget stuff all the time, Phil, to be honest with you. So, no issues there. We'll get Gary back on in the future, not a problem at all. And stepping in, I should say, at the last minute was Mr. McGinlay, which was brilliant. I know Ian at Green and White, we had a wee bit of a discussion about getting you on. That is now booked and confirmed, PHIL MCGINLay, for the 3rd of June. So we look forward to that. And what about the box office and popcorn that is required for next Friday, if you can, fast forward? Tony from the Four Tims times Bhoycie bus. It's box office. It's the two guys that the first time I ever spoke Celtic was on the other pod, with the wee fella. He was in the background. And me and Tony from the Four Tims we just hit it off, mate. It's been love at first sight. So it's brilliant to get Tony from the Four Tims back on. No one in the world says the word pish quite like him. Looking forward to that one. In the meantime, though, we've got loads coming up, Phil. We've got the Regan Sunday Blether coming up this Sunday, followed by the 6 p.m. cult show that has become the Sunday sesh. We'll have a wee day off tomorrow, with there being no games and stuff. It's crazy, and we're going to talk about how weird it's been. That's been, nearly a week already, Phil, without Celtic. But first and foremost, mate, how the devil are you?
I'm absolutely brilliant, mate. Delighted to be on again. Thanks for asking me to come in, but I'm always happy to come on and talk Celtic, no problem at all. But yeah, just same as always, mate. I've got the disco fish on behind me over my shoulder there because I've noticed people have said in the comments in the past, like, what's that light behind Phil? It's a light with some water and some plastic fish in it. So there you go. So my disco fish in the background.
Disco fish, I like that,
Disco
mate.
fish.
I'm in my disco
Aye,
shirt
disco
tonight.
lights. Aye, so yeah.
I'm in
But
the disco
no,
shirt.
I'm ready to go, and mate, you've unleashed the beast by making me put together these questions, man.
Oh,
You know,
I know.
mate,
I am
trivia's my
shit-
thing, man.
I'm
So
shitting it.
good luck to you, mate. Good luck.
I get it, mate. If I am freezing a wee bit, I do apologise. I don't know what we had a good wee run at it for a month or two, and then last night and tonight it seems like I might be a wee bit like freezing. You know, you can see my beautiful check the pose. You know what I mean? Like that'll be happening a wee bit. So, Stephen McDonald's sober dog. I like that. Chunks in my trunks. Big Phil, the legend. How
Thanks,
cool is
Chunks.
that, man? Craig White is saying hello to Regan. I did see Regan in the comments. Only as good
Yes,
as your
indeed.
last game. I used to think his podcast was called Only as Good as Your Last Podcast, which I thought was really funny. I'd missed the word game out for some reason. I don't know why. David Bradley's in as well. Hello, David. Hope you are good. I seen Scott Cameron in the chats. Les Watts, a member. He comes in. Stella be joining us tonight. I'm not drinking myself, but I can still enjoy others supping. Dragon soup for now. Hopefully we'll be seeing more of that next season.
I'm just drinking water tonight. It's been very topical this week, water. So I thought I would pay tribute to that news story and
Straight
get some
for
fuel.
the toilet. Straight for the toilet, you hero.
I dare not be. After I took a sip there and you said that. Oh,
Yes, Chunks is in the dragon suit, mate. Cheers. Alex Forsyth is in the house. No one wears a Bhoycie Bus t-shirt better than Alex Forsyth, could I just tell you. Terry Robb, the PMP master, the face of the Sunday Sesh and the post-match pitch these days. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. The best accent in podcast history. Terry
the
Robb.
best
with the big
setup as
handsome-
well behind him with that
Oh.
man cave he's got. Oh, fucking yes.
It's quality. Danielle F is there, and it's amazing that Phil is on. She's saying, "Well, Danielle,
thank
you
you.
might have a part to play on this Sunday sesh as well." Charles Smith, it's been a good week, so much fun. I agree. I totally agree. It's been a delicious week, Phil McGinlay. We're going to get to that just momentarily. Lisboa, 67. The league table never lies. We beat them at Parkhead and Ibrox. There is your 6 points. They kid themselves on that they threw it away. The only title they have in their short history, we gifted them it. I get it, mate. I get it. Nace Stella says Gary Brown. The Waynes drink the dragon soup. I've actually got both. I've got my green and white Stella again, which the first time I bought, I thought it was alcohol free, and I thought it was like, oh, green and white, that looks cool. And then she was like $7.99 for like wee stumpies. I was like, what? Turns out it's actually unfiltered, so it means it's stronger than normal Stella. Oh, jackpot!
Have some of that. Yeah.
Ali is back on the bus again. Fantastic. Joe Curran, good to see you. I've got the bus going again. I love this. Ian and White, first time on the bus this week. We've noticed Ian working and getting ready for Santa Ponza. Good to see you, Ian. Have the best holiday as well, mate. Right.
Good
That was
Celtic
that time,
stronghold, Santa Ponza. There else have been there, but aye, good
Santa
Celtic bruisers there.
Ponza. Yeah. Love it. And Catherine Williamson sent a lovely message in the comments. I don't know if you've seen it on like the video for last night. She sent a beautiful big message. So Catherine, a big shout out to you. I was beaming with pride when you sent that, Catherine. I really did appreciate it. Thank you for that. Pato is in the building as well. Better give him a shout out. Am I going to smash the Double Doon, asked Scott Cameron? I don't know. It's funny how cocky
We'll
can
see.
be. It's funny how cocky I can be for 5 months as the host, mate. I'll probably do shy. The squad number one, I'm pretty confident on though, because I'm weird at numbers. But anyway, Phil, enough of that shite. Big thank you as well. Fanboyfootball.com. Still sponsoring us. There's still 11 days left to get your Bhoycie Bus t-shirt. The deadline is the 31st of May, and then that's it. The shop will be shut from then on. 11 days to get Bhoycie Bus t-shirts. We have sold, Phil McGinlay, close to 60 t-shirts. That's wild, mate. Like,
Nice,
wild.
mate.
Like, I'm happy to say that number. I don't kid on and live with smoke and mirrors. You know, substantial sales on the t-shirts, and the merchandise is profitably doing very well as I pontificate my next move. No. Over 50 tees for a 5-month-old pod. I'm blown away by that, and I'm glad we did it in the right way without the profits at the forefront. It worked out. I was making £2.80 a t-shirt. I'll even tell you the truth. £2.80 a t-shirt. So at no point Was this a screw job on fans or any of that shite? But I'm just chuffed that everyone's enjoyed it so much. And if you do want to get one, you've not got one, or you do want one in another colour, there is still time, but the time is running out. Please also, if you are watching right now, hit the like button if you've not already. What is wrong with you people? Hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you want as well. Get notifications, hit the bell. You'll see my name popping up every 20 minutes.
Those subliminal messages up above me.
That's it, mate. Subliminal message, and I like that. And if you want to become a member, like Ian, Green and White One has done, as have many others, like Brian Galt. I know it's a shared membership with his beautiful wife, Kaylee. You get a wee symbol beside your name. It's $1.99 a month, and it goes a long way. It's going to help, particularly with the sponsorship obviously ending at the end of the month when the fanboyfootball.com site closes down. Hopefully, just temporarily, though, of course. Right. Let's get into it now. Phil. Because what do we do? There's been no football match to talk about. There's been no pre-match presser of Mange, and we're going to talk about that. But it's been a hell of a lot happening this week, Phil. Now, there's a lot of hurt out there right now. I get it. And our regular Blue Noses haven't been in the comments this week, Phil, on any of our shows yet.
Nowhere to be seen last night.
I'm still trying to work it out, but you know what? I think we can maybe join the dots. We can maybe join the dots as to why. Now, our week though in Celtic sports has been joyous still. Loads of joy, a wee bit of smugness probably added into the mix since Wednesday. But what a pity, I suppose. If we're going to balance out the argument, it does feel a wee bit of a pity that the showpiece match at the end of the season, which really we turned into our own in the past decade. You know what? In fact, since the turn of the millennium, really, we've been involved in so many of these finals. It would have been sweet to have finished off in the sun with that one more trophy. But you know, at the start of the season, we were beggars, can't be choosers. I think we got more than we bargained for at the start, you know, from the start of the season to where we've ended up. It would have been nice to be in there, but all in all, it's been a glorious week being a Celtic fan, is it not?
It has indeed. I think it's safe to say that on my Twitter account, I think my retweet button is now glowing white hot because I've been tapping it so many times. Every time I've seen something, it's been like retweet. Yeah, it's glowing white hot at the moment. I just can't stop pressing it. But yeah, it's been quite an incredible week. You and David discussed it last night. We can poke fun at it, and at the same time, you got to look at the point of we kind of wish it was us as well at the same time of, you know, being a European final. So there is that argument as well. In terms of the Scottish Cup final tomorrow, yeah, it has always, out of the two domestic cup finals, that is the one, you know, it's the last big game of the season, sort of one that brings the curtain down. However, in the circumstances that they are in right now, I just think of, it's going to feel similar, I think, for them to like when we lost the league in 2005. When Helicopter Sunday happened, and then we had to play Dundee United in that cup final the week later. And a trophy's a trophy at the end of the day, but that one was just horrible in terms of it hurt because of the way we lost the league. And another similar one as well, although the circumstances were different because of the manager, because when we won that Scottish Cup in 2005, we knew that Martin O'Neill was leaving, so there was a bit of, you know, the Martin O'Neill Clarkson, there you go, just for you, Boyce, already. A few minutes in, I've mentioned them for you. You know, we'd already known that Martin O'Neill was leaving, so it was a bit of a send-off for him. But then there's like the 2011 one when we blew the league up at Inverness with a few games to go. And then Neil Lennon picked up the Scottish Cup. But I think Neil Lennon gave quite a rousing speech the week before. Remember, this isn't the end, this is just the beginning. You know, so that, I think, got the fans on side. Because I remember being at the 2011 Scottish Cup final, and there was a sort of excitement because you felt like, okay, this is going towards something. But I think even the likelihood is I think Rangers will probably pick up the cup tomorrow against Hearts. And yeah, I could see it feeling a bit like how we felt in 05. It's going to be like, it's a bit of damn squib because what happened to them on Wednesday night, that was huge for them. And but in terms of like how we've done this season, in hindsight being one thing, I'm happy with what we've achieved, you know, and stuff like that. And yeah, we've missed out in the Scottish Cup this time. We go again next season, mate. You know, now Ange has got that as a target. I didn't win all 3 trophies this season, the domestic treble. You know, that's something to aim for next season, maybe. So, yeah, we'll just see what happens.
I am going to disagree with you on what happens tomorrow, Phil.
Okay.
I genuinely think Hearts will win. I have a mad feeling Hearts will win. And this isn't about, just point scoring against them. I just think we've seen this movie before. Celtic came back from Seville, albeit they scudded Kilmarnock 4-0. But they missed that penalty, the Thompson penalty. Dunfermline lay down. I agree with Chris Sutton on that. But the thing was, if we hadn't played that final and we hadn't had the disappointment of it, I think we would have beat them 6 or 7-0 just because if we had to get results at that point in time, we just got them. That's how good that team was. And I really believe that Celtic team were men. A lot of them. Like they had balls. That Rangers team, I'll be completely honest, know the taste of defeat quite a lot. They won the league last year at a canter, and I totally respect 25 points clear, an unbeaten league campaign. Fans or no fans, fair fucking dues, right? But I also know that the only time Rangers, since their, whatever you want to call it, reincarnation, journey from the bottom, I don't care. The only final they've won is against Peterhead. It's that simple. I find the fact that they played 120 minutes, it was mentally draining, it was emotionally draining. They didn't get the result they wanted, so that adrenaline rush you might have going into Saturday isn't there. I just have a feeling we are going to see them crumble tomorrow. And by the way, I know, if that's the case, why not just do another weekender, Celtic fans? Why not just let's hit Merchant City again and do it all over again? Paint it green and white. Why not? Why not? We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But anyway, it's not all about what they've done. I think there's been a bit of a smugness amongst the fans because there was idiotic comments, shall we say, Phil. Kevin Thompson, absolute prime. What an absolute clown. Do you know what I hate about Kevin Thompson? The amount of interviews I've now seen him do, where he feels the need to go, and I'm not like that. I'm actually a really good guy. I'm a good guy. And I'm like, why do you always say you're a good guy?
Yeah, like, so keep reminding people.
And I'm nothing like that. I just like my footy. I like playing footy, and I'm a really good guy. It's like, shut up, you're a prick. And he is the prick's prick. And when he's trying to call out Chris Sutton about class, being a class act, etc., he's kidding himself on. Yeah. That's the thing. Kevin Thompson genuinely was trying to spin in the media that winning the second tier European tournament, which is a huge achievement for a Scottish club, by the way, eclipses the European Cup. On what planet is he born? And I think comments like that in the lead up to the game is why you just end up going, do you know what? Even if there was one minuscule bit of me that goes, fair play to you, and we'll leave it to see how it goes. It all gets eroded by pricks like Kevin Thompson, and you just go, do you know what? See, when they went 1-0 up, I just felt dread. I was like, oh my God. I was like, no. So I'm delighted that they got beat, and I don't mean it nasty. I just am. I'm delighted that they lost the game. But footballing context, we love to talk about on this, Phil. Has it whetted your appetite to see what Celtic can do in Europe next year? It certainly has whetted mine.
Oh God, yeah. So like I said on one of the many thousand shows that I've been on in the last few months, where I said something about, I felt that the Bodo Glimt final, Europe this season, I felt came too quickly for us. And what I meant by that was it was just too soon into this rebuild. Not sure what I say, because we knew this season it was going to be a transition of some kind. Amazingly, this transition season's turned into a massively successive season, which nobody really thought was possible. Even many Celtic fans thought it, but hey, absolutely delighted it happened. But I just felt like Europe would be a step too far. I thought if we achieve anything in Europe, it'll be great. But we've got to push on now because we've had to take our medicine this season for what happened against Bodo Glimt. And obviously watching Rangers get out of the final. And yeah, I will no longer buy the narrative from the board if they ever come out with the whole, we just can't compete. It's like,
financial disparity, I think we can,
Phil, isn't it? Yes, financial disparity, yeah. Although I'll give this new board at the moment. Well, I say new, they're sort of new. There's a couple of new faces. That was more associated with Peter Lawwell, that whole financial disparity thing. We'll see, you know, how we go into the league stuff. Is just like, just seen. I watched Ryan 118, one of his videos, and he put a sort of, this is the current standings of who's qualified and where they're going to be, and he's already speculating potential good groups and stuff like that. And yeah, it's terrifying at the same time, because you're just looking at some of the names. I'm just like, oh shit, you know. There was one though that did kind of intrigue me, but I was like, surely they can't be allowed in. I noticed in pot 3, Shakhtar Donetsk's name's there, and I don't think, are they playing football in Ukraine just now? Surely not. Because I know that Donetsk got moved out of the Donbass arena in 2014 because of what's going on, and they've been playing in Kiev for recent years. But apparently they've qualified for the Champions League. Now, I wouldn't imagine that they're playing football right now in the Ukraine. Something tells me that's what's going on. So I don't know how Shakhtar are in the Champions League next season, and if they'll even be able to play. Hopefully we don't get them in the group. I don't think Celtic fancy an away trip to the Ukraine right now. I really don't. It's mental.
No, me neither. And before I come back in, big thank you, Sean McCluskey, the latest monthly member of the Bhoycie bus. It is only $1.99 a month. It's optional. There's no hidden features you're going to get on the channel. It just helps us survive, because we want the channel to be self-sufficient, Phil. Once you lose a sponsor, not because we lost it out of anything bad, fanboyfootball.com's doing their sort of revamp, I think, and whilst they're doing that, there's no point in sponsoring the show. They've loved sponsoring the show. I've got that in writing from them several times. But whilst that's not there, any sort of income's much appreciated. $1.99, optional, 20 hours a month of content. I don't think it's bad, But of course, it's totally optional, and it's not about that. But Sean, welcome aboard, mate, and thank you very much. It is appreciated. Now, interesting enough, Chunks of my Chunks wants to raise money for other reasons. He wants us to raise a bag of sand for Chris Sutton to come on the Bhoycie bus. I mean, that would just be phenomenal.
That would be box office, mate. That's box office.
I know, because I think we would get on very well, Bhoycie. You get Derek Johnson. You're looking at someone who's an embarrassment.
He's a charlatan, mate. Derek Johnson, a charlatan.
I work in the media now.
But one thing I just want to add as well, just on the, because Paul Gilston. Oh, they're flowing tonight, mate. The tsunami has started, mate. That's it. Once that's in, good stuff, Paul. Well done,
VIP, mate.
VIP, mate.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Take your seat on the top deck, mate. VIP's up there, mate. But I was just going to add on, because this has obviously been a narrative that's been going for a few weeks now since they qualified for that final, about the numerous people coming wheeled out and discrediting what the Lisbon Lions achieved. And I just find it stunning, because the whole thing seems to be because the format of the tournament was different back then, and apparently football was easier back then. Well, the first question is, I've got lots of questions on this one that I always fall back at them. So the first one is, so you're saying that it's easier back then and it's kind of discredited. So Real Madrid are 13 times champions of Europe. They won 6 of those before Celtic even won the cup in 1967. So are all Real Madrid's ones from the 50s and 60s, are they thrown in the bin? Because a few Rangers fans and a few pundits say so, because that's not really that big an achievement, And then you talk about the 1967, the team that won the European Cup the year before Celtic won it had Di Stefano and Puskas in it. The team that won it the season after had Bobby Charlton and George Best. So do not try and tell me or tell any other Celtic fans that football was shite back then. Do not even try to tell me that, because look at the caliber of players that were picking up that trophy back then. So again, it's just like, it's just, I think it's just specifically the 1967 season. And they want to say, teams like Vojvodina aren't even around anymore. We'll see the season before, Vojvodina from Yugoslavia, Partizan Belgrade from Yugoslavia were in the final of the season before against Real Madrid. So Yugoslavian football, it couldn't have been that bad back then in the 1960s. So there you go.
Good. And where does it end, Phil? That's brilliant, though. Good knowledge. And I love your passion there. I love shit like that. You did that well, mate. That's very good. What about the fact, where does it end? So, see when Celtic were runners-up in the 1970 European Cup final,
Yeah.
I take it that's worse than being runners-up on Wednesday night. Does becoming runners-up in Seville mean more than Celtic being runners-up in the Premier competition in 1970? Where does it really end? The best one. Honestly, some prick yesterday said, 11th team in Germany, who cares because who's got beat off that Porto pub team in 2003?
The pub team that then won the Champions League the season after. Joe's another good one that came up in the recent months on Twitter, and I nearly fell at my seat when I saw it. Apparently, they're Champions League semi-finalists. Did you know that? The Rangers were Champions League semi-finalists. Stephen, go for it. Well done. Another member. I told you, it's a tsunami, mate.
Thank you so
Domino
much.
Effect. One falls.
Stephen Coulter, what a man. No, I appreciate it, mate. That's really kind. Thank yous all so much. This is the best bus ever. Right, sorry, on you go, Phil. Apologies.
I
need to get those mentions in, though. Do you know what I mean? And show your recognition. Sorry, mate.
No, apparently they're also Champions League semi-finalists. That was one that was new to me, because in 1993 they got to the group stages where they did it in reverse order, where they did 2 rounds of knockout, and then the last 8 went into a group stage, then the 2 stopped. So they say that makes them Champions League semi-finalists. Now, one of the teams just plucking one out of the thin air was Club Brugge. I guarantee if you ask a Club Brugge fan, has your team ever been in the Champions League semi-final? They're probably going to say no. So, again, it's just caution at straws. It's just everything they do has to be compared to us. And it's like, come on, man. So, yeah, I say I've always got answers for them when it comes to this. You know, you can use stats to prove anything. See, some of the stuff I've just wheeled off there. Say, fucking George Best and Bobby Charlton won the European Cup the year after Celtic. It's like, so don't tell me that football was shite back then. You know?
I just feel like anyone who wants to deride any team that's won a European Cup
mental
have to support one team. That's only Rangers fans. That's it. There is literally no other set of fans in European or world football that derides a European Cup success bar them. Even Man U fans don't deride any of Liverpool's European Cup successes, no matter how far back you go. No Liverpool fan derides a Man United. I think they won it. Did they win it 68?
68, yep. I'd say they're the season after us, but
take it.
The players they had.
Fucking Diddy tournament, eh? How do Man United even count that amongst their Champions League wins? Oh, shut that. Shut up. It's sad. It is very sad. However, not to dwell on people worrying too much about Celtic's great success, because obviously one of the morals of the story is, you know, don't send a bear to do a lion's job for
That's a t-shirt slogan if ever I saw one, by the way.
I like that when I seen it on Twitter. There's been a few. I think we need to give Ryanair a big shout out as well, as they are.
Oh my god, yes.
As they are literally escorting Rangers fans onto their aeroplane. Their social media guy is getting it right round every single one of them today. And unbelievable patter. Oh, Twitter's just been a joy recently. It's been so much fun. Now, we might want to talk a wee bit about football. John Duncan, by the way, comes in. The Lisbon Lions will be voted the greatest football team ever for what it did for football. All the players from Glasgow within a 30-mile radius. It'll never be done again. I know, but hey, League Cup, Bob McBob's compared.
Alex Ferguson himself said that it's the best achievement. Alex Ferguson, who played for Rangers and grew up a Rangers fan, arguably probably the greatest manager in our lifetimes, Alex Ferguson. So, yeah, he's coming out and even saying it as well. It's not a bad endorsement, let's be honest, you know.
T-Bone McCabe. Boyce reminds me of Jay out the in-between.
Complete it, mate. Wow.
I remember the Caravan Club.
Ironically, is Jay not the one that sticks his head at the window and shouts bus wankers as well? And this is the Boyce bus.
Friend! Fucking friend!
Football friend.
Championship manager completed it.
Completed, mate.
Which is probably literally true. Right, okay, Phil, I can't mind what we're meant to be talking about, mate. It just goes out of control. Let's talk about the man wearing specs these days as if he needs them. He doesn't need fucking specs, does he? I've seen him bring down balls for 70 yards, mate. You know, cushioning them, I've seen him spray balls fucking the length of the pitch, mate, absolutely on a £10 piece. The main man, Jota. The rumours grow again, Phil McGinlay. They seem like they're getting stronger. People are already maybe prematurely celebrating the fact today, they reckon. It is official in a lot of people's mind. He is signing on. 6.35 million is the quoted fee now, Phil. Is this rumour stronger than the rest? Are we getting carried away? Is it through desperation? And how important will it be if it is to be the case? Jota on board, 4-year, 5-year, however fucking many year deal it may well be. Let's talk about it.
I really hope if it was true, just let's say it is. Let's say it is going to happen. Imagine they announce it at like 2:55 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Just the timing's everything. Just similar to when we announced Brendan Rodgers the night before the cup final between Rangers and Hibs. Imagine if we just waited just for the shithousery. But no, he is crucial. It would be amazing to get it done. And most of all, it is a statement of intent. That is a guy that people can see already in modern day football is worth a lot more than what we're going to pay for him. So if we go and get him for, say, the 6.5 million that apparently is the guaranteed money we've got to pay, we know right away that we're sitting on a player that we are going to double that easily. We're going to get a good couple of years out of him. Unfortunately, that is the business model at Celtic. There will be a couple of, 2-3 years down the line, move on. But that's just the way it is. But yeah, I mean, it's a massive statement of intent from Celtic there because they're sitting on a hell of a commodity, and he will do that. He doesn't even need to bed in. We've done the Odsonne Edouard thing where we bring him in for a year, see what he's all about, and then he'll just hit the ground running and continue into next season. It would be fantastic if we can get it done. Obviously, the Carter Vickers thing's going a wee bit quiet, but yeah, it seems like there's a lot of noise coming out of the Jota camp right now. And I seen today, one of these random Celtic accounts, I think it was Everything Celtic was the name of the account, said that they quoted some sort of article from Portugal saying that it's almost a done deal. And then I saw the Daily Records Twitter account had picked up the story. So we'll see what's happening, but the signs are definitely encouraging. They definitely are.
I agree. And then there Danielle comes in. It's a steal for Jota. £6.35 million is 350,000 more than we paid for John Hartson in 2001. It's 350,000 more than we paid for Neil Lennon in 2000. It's 350,000 more than we paid for Chris Sutton in 2000. FYI, that was 21 and 22 years ago, these three deals, right? 6.35 million in 2022 for a Champions League side is buttons, Phil McGinlay. Buttons. It's a damning indictment on the shitey TV deal that Scotland have somehow managed to contrive, because it's actually baffling how undervalued the league is for how many views it gets on its broadcasters, how many broadcasters it's got showcasing its games between European football and the BT Sport, Premier Sports for the domestic cups, Sky Sports, of course, for all the league matches. Again, the whole quota not taken up by our main broadcaster for the league, sadly, this year. Now, what we need to get real with, and I think Celtic fan base do as well, stop thinking, we're being prudent, we're not overspending. I'm sorry. Your financial model has to evolve with the times eventually. And right now, Celtic are playing catch-up with that financial model. If we buy 5 players at £6 million this summer, Phil, people will think that's, oh wow, it's been a war chest. Well, I'm sorry. If we'd carried on believing we were Celtic in 2003 and kicked on again under Martin O'Neill, the best manager we could possibly have in the world at that point that we could attract, if you like, was there at the helm. The best team we'd seen in 20 years at Celtic was there. The best achievement a Celtic team had managed in Europe in 30 years was there. All it needed was to go again, keep believing. Instead, we got, David Fernandez for £1 million. Do you know what I mean? It was actually a wee bit insulting when you look back at it. This summer, Ange Postecoglou has achieved the impossible. The financial reality of that is not going to be lost on the Celtic board. They have lived within their means, Phil. You talked about financial disparity earlier. And that excuse, well, there is no excuse now, because the 40 million's in the bank. There's no playoffs to worry about, to contend with them. We need to hedge our bets a wee bit. We can't go gung-ho. Well, I'm afraid that's not the case now. The case is, Phil, we are there. We don't play European game for 2 months. You've got all the time in the world to get the deals over the line the manager wants. And this time, we're going to need to be brave. we are going to need to say 6.35 million to Jota. Signed. Where do we sign? It's done. And if that means, like Paul McFarlane's saying, right? If that means, like Paul McFarlane saying, it's 30% sell-on fee.
So
who cares?
Yeah.
You still do it.
We'll make a massive profit.
If you believe in the player, which I think we all do, not just the manager, which obviously his view comes first, but we can all see it. And if we can see it and sees it, we all know that 30% selling fee means nothing. It doesn't matter. It's sound. Because we'll sell him on for 15, 20, 25, 30 million. And see what we start doing, by the way. This is the domino effect that I think we're all missing here, Phil. We start getting Champions League, say, the next 3 years in a row, with Jota featuring the next 3 seasons in a row. Guess what? We start doing what Benfica do. We start doing what Ajax do. And when we've got a good player, or a brilliant player on our hands, or a star player in the team, we sell them for 30 to 40. Kieran Tierney went for 25 within a year, was getting linked to 50 million, 60 million moves. Still is.
Yep.
Right? Van Dijk went down for 13 million, moved for 75 million 2 years later. This isn't fantasy land I'm living in here. It's all about boosting the valuations. So if you buy big, you will sell bigger. You know, because you've got more of a compelling argument as well. You can sit and say, well, whoa, hold on now. You expect us to part with Jota for £12 million. We've got 30% to Benfica. We spent over half of that on him in the first place. Where's our profit? No, you need to go to 20, mate. Now we're talking. Let's start talking like a proper European outfit that are clubs, I'm sorry, of similar stature, reputation, history and prestige as Celtic. Jota, 6.35 million, Phil. Just get it done, eh?
Got to, mate. And the thing is, Ange, and I think he'll do it this way. It's no good us going into, because we talk about the fans will say things like, we've got the Champions League now, so we've got that lure. To me, it needs to be more than just, oh yeah, we're in the Champions League group. You can come and play 6 games in the Champions League. No. Ange will need to say to them, you're coming to play in the Champions League group, and I'm bringing you in to make sure that we can compete. You know, any players that he's trying to pitch it to, it's got to be a case of, instead of, we'll just come over, we've got 6 games, guaranteed Champions League, under the lights, that theme music. No, he wants to make them believe that when they're coming here, we're going to actually be a force again. That has to be drilled into the team, and any new signings has to be as crucial. And as I keep saying, I said that one about his intent. We know that you're saying 15 million easily, at the very least 15 million. If he keeps progressing the way he does, we are sitting on a massive commodity for the next few years. And I say players like that, we've got to be hunting out those gems. Even if it's a case of we do a similar thing where we take a person on loan for a year, we're option to buy, so then we get to try them out and know what we're getting. I say, because the model works. We've done it with Edward. We're looking like we're going to do it with Jota and probably Carter Vickers as well. We're not hearing much on that at the moment. Fingers crossed. I feel like we need to dehydrate.
That's good, Brian.
That is good.
They went from liquidated to dehydrated. That's very good, Brian Galt. I don't
that is a good one.
To that one, mate. That's superb.
But no, that is what he's got to do. He's got to make the players believe as well when they're coming in that we are going to be a force. I think I said it last week on the Sunday session. I think Celtic, maybe Scottish football in general, over the years has kind of taken that, we're just happy to be here mentality in the Champions League. And it's like, no, we've got to get rid of that. That'll help us get our fierceness back, and especially in the home games, big time. And also just a quick revisit, you're talking about that UEFA Cup final team and how we didn't build on it. Do you want to know what's the most scandalous part about that following season, right? That you didn't mention there? Henrik Larsson told us at the start of the 03-04 season he was leaving, and we replaced him in the 04-05 season with Henri Camara on loan.
And you wonder why Martin, I know Martin O'Neill
a whole year
in that.
that we knew Larsson was leaving.
O'Neill knew, obviously his wife fell ill, and God bless them all, you know what I mean? And Martin O'Neill went and, took care of her. Genuinely, I feel though, Phil, Martin O'Neill knew his worth in football. Yeah. And he knew his stock could only fall whilst that penny pinching was going on.
Yep.
He had to beg to get Juninho on transfer deadline day, if you remember right, as well.
Yes, I remember his
He
debut
made
as well.
debut against Rangers. And he actually was brilliant that day. I don't know if you remember.
Yep,
He ripped-
only
he
good game he
ripped
played. Alan Thompson scored an absolute screamer. Yes.
Ripped the piss out Rangers that day. It was awesome. But he was on a free as well.
Yep.
You know, they was getting no favours, mate. Henrik Larsson leaves, a loan signing and a freebie of a guy in his 30s. It's just silly. This time, we are in a position of strength. And I think we need to spin it as well, though, and go, let's be positive, though. What's been is done. We have to learn from those mistakes. January, let's look to the most recent window. Seemed to me, Phil McGinlay, like the first time we have learned from those mistakes. Celtic were on the front foot in that transfer window. They had 3 in, announced the night before the window opened.
Yep, that's right.
What? It's usually at midnight before the window shuts. And you've seen the effect that had. The impact that they were allowed to make. They had an extra month than what normally our January signings have, because they all cram it in on the 1st of February. Do you know what I mean? These guys were all there in training on the 1st of January. Outstanding work. We've got to believe, Phil, that's a sign of things to come. That Postecoglou is raising standards, not just on the pitch, off the pitch. He also, I feel, has this club by the bollocks, by the short and curlies, and he says, what I say goes. The trophies are now there. All the fans are there on my side. If you don't do what I want, you're going to look pretty stupid here. Oh, and here's my mate Mark Lawwell, just to strengthen the argument. That's who I think is done. I think he's came in as a bit of cavalry for Postecoglou, by the way. I think he's a reinforcement on Angie's side. I was a bit sceptical at the time, Phil, with the Lawwell appointment, because of the name.
Yep,
not
it's the
being a
name.
prick.
Yep.
But do you know what? There's 3 Strachan's working at Celtic apparently right now. Or there was, because Gordon Strachan had that wee 3-month spell, remember? As an advisor. That happened this season.
Easy to forget, isn't it? It's been so bad.
There's Gavin Strachan, and then there's another one. Who's the other one? There is another one there anyway at Celtic. I can't remember who it does, but there's another one there. And then you've got like Peter Lawwell leaves, suddenly Mark Lawwell comes in. It stinks.
Yeah.
But in this instance, I'm going to switch a wee bit and go, actually, I think it was Ange and Mark Lawwell that had some sort of connection, some sort of, knowledge of each other. And I think this is actually cavalry for Ange Postecoglou's case to be driven forward for whatever his focus is for next year, whatever his project is, whatever his blueprint is for phase 2 of the Ange era. I think Mark Lawwell's coming in to strengthen Ange's hand as opposed to work like Peter Lawwell did, which mysteriously, when you had like Rodgers there, seemed to become actually I'm more important than you. And it became almost a battle of egos, which is fucking nonsense.
Yeah,
the manager is the ego of the club. The board are there to serve the football team. I just turned my mic up by accident. The board is there to serve the football team. The football team's not there to boost. Well, Peter Lawwell was the best paid CEO in British football. We qualified for the Champions League 3 times in 10 years. How? Because he was making enough profits to get that bonus hit. If that's now becoming enough before the footballing decisions, that's very, very, very poor. That's a risk, like a completely risk-free strategy where football is a game of risks, both on the park and off the park. You have to speculate to accumulate at times. I think the Lawwell appointment is forward-thinking. I believe Jota will sign for £6.35 million, and I believe he will not be the only player to join Celtic at that sort of a value, Phil. Not because it's all about the valuations. I just think it's about the standard of player that we're looking at tend to be in that sort of bracket, cost-wise. If we are looking to take the only additions to be of a level above what we've currently got. Does that make sense?
It does, and I also think as well that we will do early business again this summer. I don't think Ange's a man that wants to fuck around for too long. He'll want to get it done just like the January window. I mean, I remember similar reaction when we talked about the December 31st. The tweet went up about they were coming in, and I nearly fell at my seat because I'm so not used to it. I remember transfer windows of years gone past, fucking around, not paying for Stevie Fletcher and end up with Willow Flood. I'm still haunted by stuff like that. A Vietnam flashback going through my head. It's like, oh no, remember how Celtic messed up. I mean, there was What was it?
Do you remember we bid 300 grand for Paul Hartley when he was like 28?
Yes.
Then signed like under the klaxon, Martin O'Neill. But and then Strachan signed him when he was 30 for $1 million. It's like, how did you find that? You know, how could you not afford Paul Hartley the 2 years before? Sorry, carry on. I know you're giving
financial
examples
disparity, mate. There was something. I think that was the first time he wheeled that one out when it was the Stevie Fletcher one, because Hibs wanted like 4 million or something like that, and he just was like, "Oh no, we're not wanting to pay that." And in the end, Stevie Fletcher will have quite a decent career down south. He probably would have done a job for us that season.
Oh, I think he would have.
Aye, because we ran out of goals that year. I remember we lost the league for 2-0 draws in the end of the season with Hibs and Hearts. It's like, oh man, you know, because I was Samaras and Vennegoor Hesselink. Right, okay.
Yeah, there is. I told you there's 3. Well,
Aye.
at one point in this season, there was 3 Strachans at Celtic. One of the Lawwells, not Peter Lawwell's, appointed the manager. Now the other lot, you're going, fucking, is it jobs for the boy? Mark Nicholson's was on the board the whole time. Now he's got the role that Don Mackay was meant to be doing. You're going, is it jobs for the boys? You know, it'll be a big test this summer. This will be the big test. And Ange is not going to be judged by anyone this summer. All eyes now. See, here's an interesting conversation. Should the eyes be directed at the board more this summer than what they were last summer? Now, last summer, I'll tell you the reason why I think there's differences to it. The board were under serious scrutiny because the team had been shite, right? First things first, you know, Lennon should have went in October. Apparently, they reneged on doing what they thought they were going to do because they didn't want to be seen to bowing to fan power, which is just ludicrous. That's not a business decision anymore. So they're incompetent at that point, in my opinion. You know, you remove a manager based on, you know, what's best for the business, not because, you know, oh, well, we don't want to see we bowing to our customer base. You know, it'd be like Tesco refusing an Aldi price match because, oh, too many customers asked us for it, so we're not doing it. Like, shut up. Just do what you need to do. You know, make the hard calls. And Neil Lennon had to go earlier than what he did. Then you end up, Phil, with a 4-month chase for Eddie Howe, which I think Celtic in earnest had the right intentions. If I was to cut them any slack, I would say they went for the guy that people wanted in that instance. They went for the guy probably with the biggest reputation that was interviewed for the job in terms of his managerial career. But at the same time, I mean, the guy was fucking relegated at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was. Tony Mowbray was relegated the year before we got him. How did that work out? 6 months, right? I see when he needs 20 guys around him. I just think Celtic was slow, if not maybe fearful of the fact that it might not work. It started bowing to far too many demands.
Yep.
And then allowing far too many of them to come in and almost basically take over. You know, when you think of how many Eddie Howe was going to bring along with him. Now, this summer, we go in with a manager who has literally millions of supporters. Millions. All on his side. Yep. There has been a bridge built between club and supporter base, not by them, but by one man alone. There's 2 trophies, the main trophy back in the cabinet, as well as a League Cup for good measure. There is a team in the park that the fans are proud of again, that has cost buttons to that board. There is £40 million on its way, Phil McGinlay, for the automatic Champions League qualification. Should now there be more scrutiny this summer on the board to go, right, there's no obstacles, there's nothing in the way this time, everything's there on a plate, let's test your competency at your job, because it's all there. There's no, well, we didn't know who'd be in charge by that point, or Ange came in too late to bring in a director of football, and, well, we had to bring in James McCarthy and Liam Scales because Ange didn't have a big enough squad. None of that bullshit exists this summer. It's all there. It's a championship winning side with 2 guys on loan that have had the best spells of their career so far that are on options to buy. There's your first hurdle. Jump it, clear it, smash it, move on to the next targets. And there's no Champions League games, no interference. You've got a 2-month free run at it. Let's test this Celtic board. For me, they're under more scrutiny, Phil McGinlay, this summer from the Bhoycie boy than what they were last summer. How do you feel about that?
I was going to say from the Bhoycie bus. I was like, everyone in the chat just giving them all sorts of scrutiny. I agree wholeheartedly on that one. It should be on them because, again, it goes back to the strengthening from a position of strength, something that we've made mistakes from in the past. Here we are again. in this position where we've got a position of strength, and this time we have to get it right. Got to get it right.
Yep.
As you say, no distractions. So there's no Champions League qualifiers. There's no fear that we're going to have to go to Armenia with Neil Beaton and Stevie Welsh at centre back. That's in the bin, so that excuse is gone. There's no World Cup this summer because FIFA decided to take a bung years ago and decided to give it to Qatar, so they can't play it this summer. So there's no World Cup distraction. That won't be a thing. He's got all these weeks, and it's like he's brought in Mark. Well, I imagine Ange has been a big voice in getting in Mark Lawwell because he's worked with him previously. There's going to be connections there in terms of like where they can network and what sort of markets they can look into. This is the one. This is the one that we've got to get it done quickly and efficiently. Ange has shown he does not want any interference to fuck about. He will want these guys in as quickly as possible because he said it before. I am a training ground manager. You can tell by the contempt that he's got towards the media, which is a subject we've got coming up soon. He doesn't like really mingling with the mainstream media. He wants to just be a manager out on the park, coaching them and drilling things into the players. So he will just want to get all of his chips in play right away early this window so that we are ready to roll come the end of July. We kick off our domestic season. Yeah, this is the one. So the board have got to get it right. They've got to back this man. Whatever he says, if he walks in and says, I found this guy, he plays in the Iranian league and he will definitely do the job for us because all the statistics show that he will. They've got to go and get the job done right away. Whatever he wants, give him it.
It's just that simple, Phil. It's that simple. I know there was conflicting opinion there. John Duncan came in, great regular viewer of the show, and he loves the board, and he thinks that they do everything right. We could go bust. I don't think it needs to be that cut and dry or that black and white.
Yeah.
If you think Celtic need to have at all times 18, 20 million pound surplus in the bank, I disagree.
Well,
I disagree.
I'll just answer that one there, and just to put John's mind at ease. Did you not see there was a tweet like last week or something, and it was about in the 10 in a row season, the one we try not to talk about, we spent 5 million on Barkas and Ajeti alone, a combination of 10 million. But for 10 million this season, and it was something like Joe Hart, Hatate, Matt O'Reilly, it was like 5 or 6 of the players we bought within 10 million. So Ange has shown with all the networking he does, all the scouts that he knows and different markets that are untapped in it, he will get us players of a good quality without having to break the bank. I know there's a whole 40 million coming in, but I guarantee we will not need to spend every single penny of that for him. He's got a good home run record right now. He's got a really good record. I trust him. I say right now we're linked with that Iraqi player in Sweden, the left back, which is a crazy combination. When you hear it, a few years ago, I think you might have said this, Boyce. If Neil Lennon had been looking at a player in the Swedish league and he was an Iraqi international, you'd be like, what the fuck? But because Ange has got this amazing record so far, it's like, I trust him. If Ange thinks he's the right man for the job, then I think he's the right man for the job as well. I am not going to question him at all. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about his going bust or anything.
No, I think it's far from that. I was talking about this, I think it was in the Sunday sesh, Phil, and I was saying, you get the vibe with Ange as well. He knows the financial parameters he'll be operating in at a club like Celtic. He's not, Phil, stupid. Nope. He's not going to be going there looking for Moussa Dembele to return for 30 million quid. No. He's not. His list will be what he believes and will know, kind of, because he gets it. He's smart. He'll go, this is going to test him a wee bit, but I know we can afford it. That's the list. Go get him. I hope he's like that. I hope he is.
I think so.
The guy I think he is. This board needs held to account. I find it baffling when Rodgers did 2 years of European qualification, Champions League qualification, I should say. They suddenly wanted to play hardball with these targets. They elevated in value, but that's called progression.
Yep.
It's progression as a club. It's going, I know we made 35 million in the Champions League each of the last 2 years. I know our turnover went over 100 million. I know, as Brown Warrior always tells us, our expenses went doubled or whatever they went. Of course they will. That's natural for a business. If the turnover goes up, the expenses go up. That's fine. But what Rodgers is saying is, how about we make another 10 million against the last 16?
Yep.
Give me those two guys. And see, the thing is, whatever it is we do in Europe, see, even if we fail to qualify the next year, we finish second somehow, which we wouldn't have. We'd have actually left them in the dust. But say we did, we've got financial assets on the pitch there that will be able to, flip and sell on for the same money, if not more. Anyway, so, it just makes no sense to me how we're still paying the same fees we were 20 years ago, Phil. We're still panicky, I think, as a support. Edging a bit. So that's a bit of a big 6.35 million for like Jota, £6 million for Cameron Carter-Vickers. These are just easy money.
Well, you said earlier on, it's a damning indictment of the TV deal that Scottish football's got. I think on the flip side, it also shows how, and it's a damning indictment on how bloated the deal is down in England, because you and I, Russell, we're of a similar vintage, shall we say, similar age. We're old enough to remember when Alan Shearer was the world record transfer at £15 million in 1997. I remember a few years ago, like 96. Nathan Ake.
Is it no?
96, 97 season, wasn't it? Aye, it was that
96.
one. 50 million. And I remember Nathan Ake went to Bournemouth. Eddie Howe, there you go. Eddie Howe bought him for £15 million. I was just like, I remember when Alan Shearer, who was a top quality striker, scored so many goals in the Premier League. And it's like, it just shows you how the football, the money down there, you get, bang average players for the prices of like 20 years ago, or buying you top class players. But yeah, I agree with your sentiment as well. It's a bit of a wank, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, it's in the Larson song, you know what I mean, for a reason.
Yeah, that's true.
We went for Shearer, he's a wanker. Don't take Matt Larson away. Is there anything else we were going to talk about, Phil? Aye, there was. I'm sure there was. Oh, aye. Plenty to get through, Phil. Plenty to get through. I hope I'm not keeping you past your bedtime.
No, goodness no.
Well,
hey, you're not getting out of that quiz that easily. No, you're not getting out.
Someone's put something in his water. He's far too confident tonight. It's fucking killing me.
It's because I'm on my 1000th show. I've got a wee bit more confidence now of doing this. That's why. Oh, there you go. Once you've done it that many times, you're a veteran now,
The way people appease their little sad little minds. A week without an Ange press conference. Phil, I can't remember life without going on a Friday night Double Doon Show and going, what about Ange's press conference, by the way? You've got a few corkers for there. He has had a season, mate, of brilliant success on the pitch, but what fun he has had. Sorry, I burped there. What a lot of fun he's had with our undeniably slightly biased media, right? I'm not going to go into, they all hate us and all that, but in general, I think there's a hell of a lot more Rangers fans in the media than the Celtic fans. Let's put it that way. Right?
Yeah.
But, he has had a hell of a lot of fun with our media. So, in the words of Ange, let's go through a couple of great moments. I'm going to start with my personal favourite, Phil McGinlay. Kenny McIntyre, for some reason, it's weird. He thinks he's best pals with Ange. You can tell.
Yep.
Like, me and Ange Postecoglou, I ask him the dark questions and, we get a rise and it's all good banter. I get the feeling Ange looks at him going, who is this prick? Like, how are you in the national broadcasting? Like, who are you? Kenny McIntyre, that was a hard watch at times, Ange, is that fair? Well, it depends what you're looking for, Mike. Maybe you're disappointed with the way it went, Mike. And that was, for me, I know the accent's shite. That is a landmark moment. Because Ange Postecoglou did the type of thing Neil Lennon does. And he's basically, in a weird way, went, you're all picking on us, you don't like us winning. But his delivery and the way he said it on the back of a win is, well, it depends who you wanted to win, mate. It's so deliciously delivered. It's so cutting. It's so clever. It's so polite. And it's the tone. The tone never changes. So see that delivery? There's no headline to write about that. Whereas, let's flip it. Neil Lennon says that and he goes, well, clearly, Kenny, you didn't want us to win the game. Even when we win, Kenny, you're moaning at us. That's the difference.
Yep.
Same rhetoric. I agree with both, but there's one delivery that is winning winning the whole way through it, and that is Ange Postecoglou. How much have you marvelled at how he's had our media team on strings this season, Phil McGinley? Because it has been a lot of fun watching Ange take the piss out of me.
The thing is, we needed a personality like Ange Postecoglou to be a manager. After the media train wreck that we were last year, absolute train wreck. Say Neil Lennon couldn't do right from wrong. Anything he said was just, it was going down badly with the fans, with the media. So we took, because we know how cutting the media are here in Scotland. You know, they will make or break you. Get Phil's own show. Well, stay tuned in the summer. That's all I'm saying. Just stay tuned. But yes, and the way he delivers it, I mean, I think it's also an Australian thing. Like, their, like, you know, demeanour and sense of humour on that, it's very dry, it's very sarcastic. I always get a good laugh. Like, I watch a lot of different YouTubers from Australia. You know, a lot of funny people, and it's just so funny to see him put them in their place. Some of my favourites, but I can't really quote it verbatim, word for word off the top of my head. But there's ones like that boy Gabriel from whatever radio station it is, and he gets absolutely bodied every time he speaks to Ange Postecoglou. There was one about when we're playing Hearts.
Gabriel Antianazzi.
That's it. And it was really like a third. It was the second time we were going to Tynecastle, and he asked him some sort of question about, you know, if your team's improved. So it was something about a record against Hearts, and he was like, "I've beaten them twice since then, mate. You know, what's the benchmark here?" And he's like, "Oh, but what I mean is, you know," and they backtrack and they hum and haul over it and stuff like that. And yeah, the Kenny McIntyre one's legendary. And there isn't just the oh, you know, you wanted to go a different way, mate. It was the one later in the interview as well, where, you know, Kenny McIntyre made some, because obviously he backed down a wee bit and tried to be his pal again, and was like, "Oh, I mean, this title race is going to go all the way, isn't it, Ange?" And he was like, "That's not what you were saying a few months ago." And again, it's so blunt and dry, and it's dead quick, like so quick-witted. I love the way he does it. And the what was the other one that he did? A significant one as well. And we're just going back to what we were talking about with the transfer thing. Do you remember after one of the bad results we had at the start of the season when the transfer window was still open, and he made a comment and says, "Maybe I'm not being forceful enough with this board." And then you look at the way we acted in the January window, it makes you think, you know, he really did become more forceful with the board. It feels like something did change there. But I can't remember which game it was after, but I can remember him in a post-match saying something about, "Maybe I've not been forceful enough with them." It might be in the defeat at Ibrox, but about getting signings in. And then I say, you look at how he behaved in the January window a few months later, it was like, no fucking about, get these guys in right away. So it just shows you a wee crumb that he threw out there. It gives you a wee insight to what it's like behind the scenes as well. So I think he did genuinely change his approach and just go in there and say, "Look, this is what we need. I'm telling you, this is what we need." You know, really forceful with them.
Yeah, I love that. And do you know what? It's not just that. He's done. The quick jibes have been brilliant, Phil. I think he's represented the club classily in that essence, and he's bit back and he's took charge of the media again, which we've not seen since, you know, Mark O'Neill. Right? Maybe Brendan Rodgers. Don't be disrespectful. But
what we signing another winger for? I've not heard of him. Remember that one?
Unbelievable. I mean, you're Terminado. But this one really got me as well. As I said to the players, we had 60,000 people in tonight, and I'm sure a lot of them walked in with some problems in their life. For this 95 minutes, we made them forget that and feel good. And that is something special. I think when you hear quotes like that for the manager, for all the moments you have, laughing, going, "Yes, mate, that's brilliant. He's just showing Kenny McIntyre who's boss," or whoever it may be. I think when you hear stuff like that, I go to like Tommy Burns. Yes. That sort of connection he's building by saying stuff like that is so fucking clever, so from the heart, that you can't fake that. You can't put that on. That is no act, Phil. That is the measure of the man. I thought that quote was wonderful when he said it that night. It was. When he could have boasted about, you know, "You wrote me off and here we are," and, you know, instead It was after the 3-0 win against Rangers, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It was.
Instead of it being all about him, instead of it being about, well, I told you the Japanese players would do great, but none of you believe me. F you, Scottish mate. Which, do you know what he could have done? I would have kind of liked that as well. Instead, he showed who he was thinking about in that moment, and it was the supporters, and he was thinking about the turmoil their life has been in for the last 2 years. A lot of them with a lot of shit, a lot of them mental health wise probably struggled through lockdown, etc. And he knows he's blessed to be in the position he's been, to be managing in Japan during that time at the top end of Asian football, to then get to come over to Scotland and take over the biggest club in Scotland. I think he realises his position, and rather than making this about him, he was thinking about all us stars. I just thought that was really touching for Postecoglou. Shows to me the measure of the man, not just the manager.
Yeah, it's that term, isn't it? He gets it. We use it quite a lot. Sometimes it can be a bit overplayed sometimes, you know. All a player needs to do is put out a tweet or an Instagram post. Oh, he gets it. He gets it, you know. No, this guy genuinely does. There's like no, you know, what you see is what you get. He's very honest, man. Very much doesn't bullshit you. It's amazing that he doesn't, for all, you know, doesn't really any excuse. I think there was a quote that we looked at earlier on, something about even though decisions didn't go our way today, that's not an excuse. You've got to love that, you know. But yeah, he's an absolute treasure. A credit to the club, and yeah, long may it go on, because yeah, we've really landed on our feet with this guy, and just try. He's not getting out of it. I'm telling you, Alfred, he's not getting out of it. He's not escaping. Oh no, that quiz is coming very, very soon. He's in for a treat. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm getting the shakes that we've not had the Ange Postecoglou press conference, because his voice is very soothing as well at the best of times. I love that accent.
True.
It's a great accent,
True.
isn't it? It's so
it
good.
is. It is. I mean, I was saying as well the other night about the one league round number 7. We've still only won. I told you, Phil, my amazement at this. I was convinced.
Aye, the Dundee United draw.
3 wins, 3 defeats, and then we went on a winning run.
Yep.
No, 7 games, 3 wins, 1 draw, 3 defeats. It's awful. And he says, in a brilliant Australian sport reference, I'm not ready to pull up stumps just yet, mate. Because that's what you do. You concede, you know, you just pull up the stumps, you know, that's it. Right. I thought that was quality. And he was spot on. He was
what Daniel F says there, embrace the jumper. I did get a good chuckle out of that at the trophy ceremony. But also just before he started the speech as well, like the PA guy at Celtic, I believe his name is John. I don't know what his film, but I'm sure it's him. He kind of teed Ange up to use a wrestling terminology, cut a shoot promo, you know, one of those ones. I use a Lennon, but he didn't again, because he was like, you know, Ange, a lot of people have written you off or said you'll be on a plane before you even heading home, before you even got here. I'll leave it to you to address them. And his first words were champions. That's what we are. You know, he didn't go on a big, I told you so, you know, get up, yes, and stuff like that. He didn't do any of that, but he was teed up to do it if he wanted to. But no, he just, you know, was just like, champions, that's what we are. And then we get the whole thing about, you know, we'll come back next year bigger and better because we never stop. But yeah, you've embraced this jumper moment was a good wee chuckle. I love that one.
Just a bit of humour, mate. Just a bit of humour in the midst of what was quite a powerful sort of speech, if you like. Now, Phil, we'll have a wee bit of fun before we do the quiz. Not that I'm delaying the quiz.
I ain't going anywhere, mate.
No, I know that. And neither am I. David Logue. He threw the name Billy Gilmore last night to a lot of controversy. Oof. People forget you've got to stimulate talking points, mate. You've got to have a bit of fun with it. And David Logue firmly understands that that's what it's meant to be. Oh, do you think Celtic have approached Chelsea for Billy Gilmore? And actually, my sources tell me he has rebuked such an offer right now. However, his great auntie is suggesting that he should revisit this at some point in the future, and Shevchenko's going to be manager next season. Isn't that right, young man? But what I will say is we all must have left field players in our minds that we think, that would work. That would definitely work at Celtic. Might be a bit unrealistic, but now's the time to have fun. It's fantasy football time. Phil McGinlay. Oh. Have you got any up your sleeve?
Not as good as the Billy Gilmore one. To be fair, I thought that was wasn't a bad shout. I mean, remember at the Euros last year when he sat with Don Mackay? He was at the Scotland-England game. Who was it? James Milner. Good utility man. Can play how many different positions?
And that experience I'm crying out for.
Very good experience, yes. He's very, very experienced. But I was just saying, like, the Billy Gill one, what game was Postecoglou spotted at last year at the Euros? Scotland-England game. Who was the best player on the park that night? Billy Gilmore. It was unbelievable that night. Callum McGregor had a great game. Scotland were really unlucky that night, I felt. I mean, I went into that game with the usual pessimistic, Scotland are going to get trounced here. By the end of the game, I was like,
Daniel
I can't believe we didn't win.
First. Daniel said it before
James
you
Milner.
Wow.
It's not a bad shout, by the way. It's not a bad shout. I mean, in terms of left field, it's tough. It's like, I can't think of like a name. I know I try to go realistic. It's very difficult. I mean, I'll put a question back to you just out of interest. Is there anyone within the Scottish Premiership that you think Ange might have? We've heard the term a person of interest be used, so somebody that's right under your nose that you play on a regular. Is there anyone that you think within our division, or do you think Ange will just be like, nah, that's not the level we need? There's he's got better ideas, or do you think there's anyone within our division this season, if you add them to the Celtic squad, they would contribute?
None that have stood out enough to me.
Yeah.
You watch every Celtic game, and particularly when you're doing podcasts, all this bullshit, I'm not saying it in a patronising way, but at times you're trying to hone in on stuff because you're wanting stuff to talk about, not because I'm watching it in greater detail than anyone else or any of that shite, right? But I watch it, I've not been overly impressed.
Yeah.
There's a name that's coming up in the comments a lot, and it's
Is
Lewis
it Aberdeen
Ferguson.
Ramsey? Always Ferguson? Okay.
Ramsey's came up as well, but look, I'll show you. Right, here we go. Brian Galt,
Ferguson.
Lewis Ferguson, Brown Warrior, Ramsey at Aberdeen. I was impressed with Ramsey when he played against us, though. I think he was diving shite, particularly the first one. Remember when Jota scored the last goal? He was fond doing it all the time because he was under pressure. He didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Stephen Coulter, Lewis Ferguson, Monty, who just a minute ago said no Rangers guys. We used a different term, but I'm not going to repeat that. At Paradise, now he's saying Lewis Ferguson with a cough. John Duncan.
Divock Origi? It's not a bad shout.
Chris M.
I mean,
outside the box. This
do you know,
it's like a Daniel Sturridge shout from a couple of years ago.
See, when Brendan was our manager, I was convinced we were going to sign Lucas Leiva from Liverpool because he loved Lucas Leiva, despite the fact he was kind of like a sort of under the radar. I mean, he was always, he was, even Liverpool fans didn't really like him, but Brendan Rodgers played him all the time. People loved him, and I was like, we're going to end up signing Lucas Leiva. But then he went to Lazio, and he's done no bad out there, I think.
Yep.
But I was convinced back then we were going to end up with him. Can I throw a name at you from the Scottish Premiership that, stood out to me? And again, I'm not saying this that we're linked to anything, but I'm always looking at, like, when it comes to forwards, try to have ones that do a different job, because when you're playing a game and you're struggling for a goal, if you've got like the forward that's up front and he's no doing it, if you put on another striker that's basically a carbon copy, to me it's like, well, if it's not working with him, what makes it with him? So that's why it's good to have got Kyogo and Giacomakis, who are obviously different. But a guy that stood out to me when we played him was, see the boy that's on loan at Hearts up front, Sims, the big physical brute. When we played them a couple of weeks ago, because he's on loan from Everton, and do you know what youth team he used to play at before he went to Everton? Manchester City's youth team.
Oh, the link.
Because I came away from that game and I was talking to my dad and I went, I know we beat them 4-1 that day and he scored the opening goal, but every time Hearts were lumping the ball forward, him and Carter Vickers was a proper wrestling match between them. Like, he was probably getting stuck into him. And I was like, he's quite a physical force, him, and he scored a great goal in the semi-final against Hibs from like 20 yards out, whatever. But as we were driving up the road, I was like, I'm sure he's on loan for an English team. And I looked it up on Wikipedia. It was like Everton, but his youth career, Manchester City. And I was like, I wonder if he's on Mark Lawwell's database. But again, I've just thrown out a name out there. But I was quite impressed with just like big physical force. It's like, because Giacomakis has a physical force as well. But this guy seems like,
We've seen
even
how
more of a
effective
brute.
that's been.
Yeah.
We've seen how effective that's been, Phil.
Aye.
As I always go back to my favourite saying, there are many ways to skin a cat. And I don't think Ange Postecoglou's got the managerial longevity that he has by only playing one way, and that's the only formation he knows. And I think we're being a wee bit naive and insulting to him when we think that.
Totally.
And I think folk miss that. He won't change for anyone. So what? He's played the same formation and the same tactics for 27 years. That's naive. That is naive to think that of him. I feel that is actually a slap in the face. Ian Green-White comes in with a name that was probably the closest that I was thinking.
Charles Cook, of course. Joint top scorer, yeah.
Celtic should be always signing the top scorer in Scotland. They should be at Celtic.
Yeah.
Charles Cook can do it for Ross County. He doubles those goals for Celtic if given regular football. And I actually liked when we played them. He did a hell of a lot of defensive work against us. He was found at right back often. And I thought, fair play to him. He's got the engine. He's got the work rate. He's got the desire. You need a bit of that in Scottish football as well. And sometimes rough diamonds, mate, might be the type of player Ange might like working with. If they've got the right attitude and application, he goes, no, I'll work with you, no worries, mate, because you're going to give me 120%, and there's talent there. You just don't know it yet enough. I'm going to bring that out because if you're willing to put in the hard yards, I've got the tools to make you a better player. I think that, Ian, isn't the worst shout.
I feel like Ange would get as much of a kick out of like Juranovic coming in and being as good as he is to what he got out of turning Tony Ralston into a good player. Like Ralston's obviously had a massive turnaround. So I think Ange, as a manager and as a training ground manager, he likes to work closely with the players. He'll get a bit as big a kick out of that as signing somebody for a few million quid that comes in and does a job, and it's like, no, I took this boy that was essentially on the scrap heap, let's be honest, he really was, and he has now made him quite a vital part of the team, a vital cog in the Celtic machine right now. So yeah, he would definitely get a kick out of that.
Money's not having it, which is absolutely fine.
It's all about opinions, man.
And we're talking about signing guys that, you know, Ange was saying immediate impact first team, so you're right, maybe he wouldn't. I'm going to bring up Paul's though very quickly, because I think we'll do the quiz right after this. Segrist, I think, now has announced he's definitely leaving. Free transfer. Phil, is he of the level to push Joe Hart week in, week out? Because for me, Scott Bain is a more than adequate backup goalie. I think we need someone who can push Joe Hart and actually take the jersey off Joe Hart at times next year. Or at least make Joe Hart 5%, 10% better. That's what I want. If it's Joe Hart who plays 60 games again next year, by the way, it's because he's a 5 or 10% better goalkeeper than he was this season. And that won't happen with Scott Bain as number 2. Right? That will happen if it's someone who can push him. Is Segrist of the quality to do that? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, folk won't like that. But
I think he's a good enough backup keeper, but you're right. What you're saying is right. We need a keeper that can push him for the jersey. You know, we maybe adopt that strategy where all the cup games and European games we play, this goalie plays in all the domestic league games, this other goalie plays so that they get a bit of game time. I think Segrist he's a step up on Scott Bain, but is he a guy that's going to really push Joe Hart for number 1? I'm no sure. I'm not 100%. And then there was a thing about, Scott Bain, remember, during this season, signed a contract extension. Ange works with the guy every day. So maybe he is, or Jamie Vardy, or better not let his wife any near the locker room, or the leaked team sheets will be coming out again. Remember that whole palaver last year, leaked team sheets? Yeah, I don't know about Rebecca, anyone near that, or it'll go over the newspapers again. But yeah, in terms of Segrist, he would be a step up on Bain, without a doubt, but I don't think he's the one that can push Joe Hart. And that's a challenge for Ange to find, Foster, oh the God.
I get it. Don't be surprised if that link happens. Right, Phil, it's been brilliant to have you on anyway, mate, and I'll see you later. Right, cheers, guys. Thank you.
Oh, you get back here. You ain't going anywhere, son. I've got some questions here, mate, that need to be answered.
I know, but it's getting late, and I know everyone needs their bed. It's Friday night, you can see.
This is the main event. That's what everyone's come for, mate. No, you don't even need to pay for this. You get this content for free, guys. So give it a like. We're going to put Bhoycie through the ringer here.
I know. I think everyone's a wee bit tired tonight, Phil. I think we can... No. Here we go then.
I think you'll do okay, mate. I think you'll do all right.
Right, let's do it. Do you want the stop clock up? Do you want to bring? Do you want to bring up the? What are you doing this on, by the way? You on a phone?
No, I'm on my computer.
Right, do you want to bring up the stop clock then? You just share your screen. You should have a share button now.
I do. So hold on a second.
You know it's sponsored by Microsoft as always. Thank you, guys.
Let's see.
Good luck,
Yeah,
Boyce.
okay.
Aim for the top. Get him quiz, Phil. Double Doon, Boyce. I'll forget the fucking lifelines, man. Do you know what
Oh
I
no,
mean?
wait! I can't because I'm going to be reading the questions off of my screen because I've got them on a notepad on my computer. So if I bring up the
Why
clock,
would it? But you can shrink it, mate. Just window them.
Yeah,
Just
let's.
window them. Aye.
Oh, this is a
You
bit
can
risky.
know when you share. No, when you share the screen, you pick what element you want to share. No.
Okay.
Yeah, you do it. You share the. Trust me.
Are you sure? Because this is on a
I won't
notepad
look.
on my computer. Or do you want to just bring up the clock on yours and then hit
Okay.
start, and then
Let's do that.
I'll just do it
Let's
for
do that.
Aye.
Okay.
Because you'll do it between a minute and 2 minutes, I reckon. Because it depends on the pace that I ask the questions as well.
I'm going for under a minute, mate. I'm going
Okay,
for
mate.
Regan's record.
I'll need to.
You read those questions fast, big boy. Yes.
Battlefield.
Do you know what I mean? You read those questions fast, big boy. Right, where are we? There we go. See if you go to when you hit share screen, it'll come up entire screen window, or like your Edge tab or Chrome, whatever it may be.
Oh,
so you just share that exact window, and then there you go.
Okay.
So it won't bring up the question, but it's fine.
So Boyce, do you need to be given the rules?
No.
No, of course you don't. Of course you don't.
Right. I need to try and hide the comments though, because everyone's going to try and bring it right. I've hidden the comments. I swear to God, I've hidden the comments. Don't put in the answers if you know them, but I have hidden them. It's just if folk put in the answers, they think I've read them. But I promise you, the comments are hidden. I'm ready to rot, mate.
Okay, so.
Oh no! Wait the note. Get the clock back up.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for. This is it. Russell Boyce, step up to the plate, son.
It's time to double down, mate.
Go for it. Question 1. Who scored Celtic's first domestic goal this season?
Ralston.
Question 2. What nationality was Landry Nguemo?
Guinean.
Question 3. How many red cards were shown to Celtic players in the 21-22 season?
2.
Question 4. Who was Martin O'Neill's last ever player signing for Celtic?
Craig Bellamy.
What squad number was worn by Ian Wright?
Oh, you bastard. 33.
Question 6.
Double Doon.
Thank you. Name three Celtic players who have scored at the European Championships.
Henrik Larsson. The European Championships. Come on, boys. Come on,
Celtic players. You were Celtic players when they scored as well.
European Championships. Henrik Larsson.
There's three I'm looking
Stilian Petrov.
And a third one.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. 3. I've never done this to anyone. A European Championship goal. Celtic player. Oh, come on, boys.
Time is nearly hitting 2 minutes. Do you want to just guess a name?
No, we can go and get 30 points.
Okay, no worries.
A third player, who would have scored? I'd rather get it right than not.
Yeah.
Who would have scored at Euros for Celtic? And he played for Celtic. Mialby.
Okay, doke. And that is the end of the quiz.
That was terrible.
So we'll call it 2 minutes and 5 seconds. It's we'll call it that. Okay.
That was awful. Oh my God, I've put people through this. I feel
before we go, do you want me to tell you what the flip it question would have been?
Yeah, go for it.
Mo Bangura went out on loan, then played against us in the Champions League qualifiers for which club?
Oh.
It was a doozy.
It was it would be. We never played AIK. It was one of the. Oh, I don't know. Well, one of the Scandinavian clubs. Helsingborg. I don't know.
Okay, I'll tell you, and we'll go over the answers now.
Oh, I've
So,
done so shiny.
first question. Now, you'll need to keep me right with the points scoring here, right? Because this bit I'm even lost
That's
on.
all right, don't worry.
Okay, question 1. I said, who scored Celtic's first domestic goal this season? You said Tony Ralston. That was correct. He scored against Hearts
5
in the
points.
2-1 defeat. 5 points for that one.
Yep.
Okay, I'll type it on my notepad as well. Okay, question 2. I says, what nationality is Landry Nguemo? You said Ghanaian. He was Cameroonian.
That was fucking hard for question 2, by the way.
Do you know what the 5 was? I was going to put Bobo Balde originally, and he is Ghanaian.
Yeah, but you're banging it order. That is question 2. Question 2.
Question 2 is normally a nationality one.
I right is that difficult, mate. Right. Sacked in the morning.
So question 3 was, how many red cards were Celtic shown last season? You said 2. It was 3. Beaton got sent off twice against Dundee United and Midtjylland. And Starfelt gets sent off up at Ross County. Aye. Question 4. I'm glad you got this one right because you're a big Martin O'Neill fanboy. Who was the last ever player signing for Martin O'Neill? It was Craig Bellamy on deadline day in the January window in 05. What squad number was worn by Ian Wright? It was 17.
I would never have got that. This is the worst ever score.
In question 6, I said, name 3 players, Celtic players who've scored at the UEFA European Championships. You got Larson. That was awesome. Well done on getting Johan Mjalby. He scored at Euro 2000. Stilian Petrov has not scored. The other 2 possible answers were Callum McGregor last year at Euro 2020/21.
Oh, you bastard!
And the other one was Paul McStay at Euro 92. It was a bit of a snide one because I asked for 3 answers and there was only 4 possible answers. But yeah, Callum McGregor last year, mate.
More snide for you. But I should have got Callum McGregor, to be fair.
Calmac. Scotland's only goal.
Yeah, I should have got Callum McGregor. So we're sitting on 35. Then I was the slowest ever at the quiz as well. Which, when you think about it, is really bad because that means I only get 20 points extra. 55, mate.
Oh, that's a bad number. Give yourself 56 or 54.
Call it 1,000.
Call it 1,000. Aye, there you go. Put yourself top of the board, mate.
I think I'm bottom of the league. I generally think that's like, I think maybe John Tomlinson did worse than me. I think that was, you were at it a wee bit there with that. I'll be honest, that was hard. I don't think I made it that hard. I don't think I made it that hard.
But yeah, I told you were unleashing the beast by making me do it tonight, mate. Like, honestly, he done you there, Bhoycie. Ah, well.
That was tough, mate. Ian Wright was at the club for 2 months. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like, I'm asking.
The thing is, I'm taking you judging it as well. On would I have got that? And I've got a real number for it. I would have definitely got the Ian Wright one. I know that. The European Championship one. If you hit me with that, that would have hit me. That would have been hard for me, you know.
3 out of 4 players to score the Euros. You're at it. I've never asked anyone for 3 players. I've said 2 out of 3, maybe.
Oh, there you go, mate.
I've been screwed. This is the Montreal screw job.
It is, mate.
That was good fun.
It was good crack, mate. Good banter.
I love it. It's good to be under pressure at times. Thank you, Alfred. Stick to asking the questions. Even Stevie Coulthard says that was a tough quiz. Anyway, that was great fun tonight, guys. Thank you to everyone who's watched. It's reached 10:30. We're going to call it a night. But Phil, thank you again, mate. And obviously, we won't do the announcement because we've not got a title as of yet. But me and Phil are going to be starting next Wednesday night. We are going to be taking you down some bustalgia. Is that what we're calling it, Phil?
It's good, right? Yeah, we're getting all the bus involved. It's nostalgia, but it's bustalgia, you know, because it's better than generic, you know, World Cup review podcast or something. It's just like it's too generic, right? But aye. So we're gonna go down some bustalgia, and our first port of call. We are going back over to the US of A, my friend. Very much like Aaron Ramsey's penalty. You seen Diana Ross when she hit it wide, but the goal split anyway. That's where we're going. We are going to take you back through the summer of 1994. We're going to be talking about
the World Cup in particular, the stars of the show, we'll find a Celtic link or two. Don't you worry about that. Phil's going to be hosting it. We're also going to be talking about culture at the time. Who was number one at that point in time? What was happening in the news? And what was happening in the world of sport and other sports as well. Join us next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. We're going to be doing it. It will be a 90-minute show that may stretch to 2 hours. But it's going to be a good nostalgia one. The bus-stalgia. We'll come up with that fucking name anyway. Bus-stalgia sounds all right so far. But we'll get there.
Oh, thanks, John. Cheers, mate. I don't know if Bhoycie agrees with that quiz, but yeah, thanks.
No, the quiz
Cheers,
is fucking
Paul.
out of order, mate. You're fucking in trouble, mate. But yes, we will see you. We'll be back Sunday for the Sunday sesh. Phil will be joining us on board, of course, as always. Terry Robb, I know he's going to Dublin, but he's going to try his best to get back on time. We'll have a few others on as well. I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. There's been over 130 yet again, Phil. What can we say? It's the best bus in Europe. It's over to Chris Sutton and the best theme tune in podcast land. Good night, lads.
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.